So, my dear educators, in today's webinar, we would be discussing about the anger management and the different strategies and techniques which we can adopt while dealing with students in our classrooms, in our schools. So, anger is a normal and useful emotion. It can tell children when things are not fair or right. But anger can become a problem if a child's angry behavior becomes out of control or aggressive. So we can say anger is a normal emotion. Every human being is having this emotion, either a small child or a very young adult. Everybody is having this emotion. Anger is okay till the time it is not harming to the person or to the other person. But when it crosses its limits, it creates difficulty, it creates problem, it creates issues. And in today's scenario, particularly after COVID, it has been noticed and observed by many of the educators, and I'm pretty sure that you are also one of them, those who are saying that now the students, they are having very less amount of understanding, and most of the time they become angry on even small little issues. So why it is happening, and what are the things, what are the techniques by which we can bring this down, we can make our children to be more happier, more contented in their lives. So let us understand first that why to manage anger. When we have discussed that it is a normal emotion, it is a normal human being emotion, then why we are talking about to manage the anger? Because it is creating issues. If it goes beyond the limit, it creates issues. The very first is aggressive behavior. In that aggressive behavior, maybe the person or the child could harm to the other child, or maybe the child could harm to himself or herself. The second point is impact health. It impacts the health also of the child. The health would also get the negative impact, and at times it is very wrong with the child. The child may get some attacks also, maybe anxiety attacks, or maybe low BP or high BP, such kind of issues, and then later on then heart attacks or these things. Nowadays these things are very common, that even in small young age students, the cases of heart attack is also rising. So why all these things are happening? Just because of the anger issues. The children, they are not having that kind of compromising situations. They feel what is, they are not able to understand the other person, and these problem arises. The third is anxiety and stress. Again, these are the negative impacts on physical body as well as the mental fitness of the child. So because of all these things, it is always better to identify the areas, the problems, the issues, and then being the educators, it is our prime duty even before the academic part. Let us first discuss about the child in the classrooms, that how, if the child is mentally fit, then only the child can sit in the classroom and the child is able to understand, is able to accept whatever is being taught. If the child is not mentally present, if the child is having complete anger in his mind, he is not able to accept anything. So that is the reason anger management is required. And from like many years we are talking about anger management, the different kind of behaviors of the students, the different triggers, and then to cope all these things through different ways, the techniques, to understand their feelings, their behaviors, their emotions, and all these things. When we see, when we talk, when we find the different ways to manage the anger of the child, that is called anger management. Though in this webinar we are talking about the children, but this can also be helpful for the student, for the elder students, and for the teachers, those who are teaching those students. So what are the areas, what are the things which cause the child's anger? The reasons may be many. Maybe the children, they see other people, maybe at family also, they are seeing their parents, those who are having certain conflicts, when they speak louder, when they are having heated arguments. Maybe these kind of things which the child is witnessing at home, the child is delivering in the classrooms, the child is having the same kind of mindset. Another thing, maybe in the classrooms, when the child see the teachers, when there is some argument between two teachers, they are listening, they are accepting that also. If they see maybe the help, the maids, the aunties in their classrooms, if they are behaving in such manner with the students, they are accepting that also. Maybe their friends, if the other friend is coming from such background where the child is every day finding the heated arguments amongst the parents, that has also been reflected. So these all kind of things, the child slowly and steadily, they accept all these things in their brain, and it start reflecting in their behavior also. So we cannot say that there is only one or two particular reasons. There are many, and amongst them these are few. The second reason may be when they are struggling in making and maintaining friendships. Most of the students which whom you feel that they are shy in nature, if they are not so expressive, that does not mean that they do not have anger issues. Some students, even if they are not able to release their emotions better, even they struggle a lot for it. And that is the reason sometimes they feel very lonely, because they are not able to express themselves, so that things get more and more in their mind, and at times it bursts in a very heated anger. The third point is enduring bullying experiences. The students, when they find such kind of bullying experiences, even in junior classes as well, it is not compulsorily that the senior students, they only bully each other, but in the very small age also, you find it even in pre-primary classes, even in the primary classes, there the students, they come to you, they inform you that so and so child is trying to bully me, the child is not talking to me properly, and slowly you will find that their behavior changes, and they start getting the anger issues. Another reason may be when they struggle with schoolwork or maybe examination. And once if they are not regular in their schoolwork, if they are not regular in their studies, and one side the teacher is pressurizing to complete the work, another side at home the parents are uh, emphasizing more on completion of work, it creates pressure on the child's mind, and the outcome of this is anger issues. Sometimes maybe they feel very stressed also, they become very anxious, they become very fearful because of these things, and all these the cumulative efforts are turning out into the anger issues. So we cannot say that only because of one reason, but there are many reasons which come all together, and the child start getting all these kind of anger problems. The another very prominent reason in the children, those who are uh, in the classes between 6 to 12, in those classes, particularly the children, they are having the due to hormonal changes, they're also due to puberty, these children are also being observed as having more and more anger issues. So we can say it is not particularly of one category of one age where we find the anger issues. Maybe the reasons are different, but the problems are same. Whatever the classes, let it be the senior classes, the secondary classes, or maybe the junior classes, but in every classroom, in every group of students, you find these kind of anger issues. So these are uh, the the points which we feel that each and every student, maybe more or less, but maximum students in today's time, they are having and they are facing these issues. So being an educator, what is our moral duty? Most of the time we feel that being a teacher, ma'am, my work is to deliver the content. I'm very good in my subject. I'm the subject expert. I go, I deliver my topic, and then I come back. Yes, I do check my notebooks also properly. So that is my duty, and I am doing it properly. But as in today's time, we, the teachers, are not only the teachers, we are the mentors, we are the facilitators, we are the person who has to play different roles with the students. Sometimes we have to be very strict also with them, but at the same time, on the basis of the need, we have to be in a very friendly mood also with the students. At times, we have to be a kind of friend, at times, a kind of philosopher, at times, a kind of their elder brother or sister, sometimes as their parents. So we have to play many roles for the students to give them the overall development. Most of the parents, they are working, they are having shortage of time. So most of the burden now comes on the shoulders of teachers. Most of the parents, you might be finding during the PTMs that, ma'am, we are not getting much time to talk to my child, and now I am finding it that the child is having different kind of behavior nowadays. His behavior is been constantly changing negatively. Why all these things are been happening? Just because we are not letting the child to release the emotions, and all these things comes upon the head of the teachers now. So being a teacher, we are having two options: either to step back or take a step forward and to be a guide and mentor to the child. Do not compare the children with our own times when we were young, when we were into the schools. At times I have come across with the teachers, those who compare their childhood with today's children. They say that, ma'am, in our time also the teachers were very strict. They were not allowing us to speak. They were not allowing us to let us release our emotions. Why would we? So for that, I would request that we are in 21st century now. With time, we have to bring the change in our teaching methodologies also, our teaching concepts, strategies, methods have to be according to this time, not as per our times. So that we all have to understand very, very carefully and diligently. Why it is so? We can take very simple example. When we were young, were we having any such kind of area where with a click we would be able to get the any kind of knowledge? No. Either we were having our teachers, the first source of knowledge, or our parents, or the limited books, the school books. Even most of us might not be that sort of privilege to go to library and to explore many books. So we cannot compare ourselves with these students which are having each and every information with just a click away. So accordingly, we also have to bring those changes amongst us. We also have to take this in a very positive way. Another way by which we can see that these are the signs of anger. Talk about what your child feels when they start to get angry. Even in the classrooms, do not let the child to go and sit at some place. Do not let the child label the child that, oh, ma'am, he or she is like this only. He's very this child is his behavior is not so appropriate. Nobody likes. Do not label the child. This is my humble request to everyone. Once we label the child, even if the child is willing to overcome those issues, the child won't. We can take this example upon us also. If somebody labels us that he or she is like this only, what would we feel? We would also not feel so good about that person. So the same thing with the students. Do not count that the children, they are not able to understand what we are talking, or they are not listening us, or they are not having those feelings. Believe me, each and every child, whether the child is good in academics or not, every child is having those emotions. Every child understands the teacher, what my teacher is saying about me. And then accordingly, they start making their own behaviors also. So kindly avoid yourselves by labeling the students. You can also identify the anger issues if their heartbeats become faster, if their muscles become tensed, if they clench their teeth, and if they make a face. These are the hyper anger issues, when the child is not at all in the control, and when the child says uh, by these kind of physical appearances, you can easily understand that now the child is having the extreme level of anger and the child is not in his or her control. So this is also something where we need to identify the child as early as possible, being maybe as a class in charge, a class teacher, or the subject teacher. We have to have a very keen observation for these kind of issues, and we have to discuss these points very very calmly and very diligently with the parents, with the senior teachers, and with the different other teachers, those who are teaching the student different other subjects and the different activities. We also have to take a good observation of the students. This is the time when the teacher enters into the classroom. That time, if we have a very small conversation with the students, we can easily identify what is in the mind of the child, what the child feels, what the child, how is the child's mood. And those 5 minutes or 3 minutes or 2 minutes talk with the children can bring them more closer to you, and you can understand that why or how and what is the reason that why the child is not feeling good, why the child is angry today. So being a teacher, it is our moral responsibility also to first bring the children up to that level where the child is able to understand you, where the child is able to listen you, where the child is able to grasp everything whatever you want to teach them. Until then, whatever your efforts are, no matter how good you are with your teaching methodologies, it will not impact the child so good. So these are some issues, some points, some signs by which we can see that the teachers, they can identify.